Welcome back to Turner Classic Movies. I'm Dave Karger. In the early 1950s, Hollywood was faced with a daunting new threat, television. With more and more Americans owning TV sets, Hollywood studios had to scramble to come up with new and exciting ways to lure moviegoers into the theaters. Many different gimmicks were tested, including one that spawned a brief but popular craze, 3D. Our next film today became one of the first major Hollywood films shot and released in 3D, and it turned out to be a huge box office hit. From Warner Brothers in 1953, it's House of Wax. The story begins when a famous wax sculptor is betrayed and nearly killed by his business partner. In his revenge, he goes on a killing spree and finds new ways to use his sculpting talent. House of Wax is a remake of a film that had been a hit for Warner Brothers 20 years earlier, Mystery of the Wax Museum. In that film, the sculptor was played by Lionel Atwill, an actor who frequently starred in horror movies in the 1930s. To play the role in the remake, Warner Brothers turned to an actor who was not yet associated with horror movies, Vincent Price. Up to this point, Price was known for playing memorable supporting roles in movies like The Song of Bernadette, Laura, and Leave Her to Heaven. When the studio approached him with the offer to star in a horror movie shot in 3D, Price initially thought it was a joke. Fortunately, he decided to accept, and the film became one of the biggest hits of his career. It also marked the beginning of his long and successful association with the horror genre. From 1953, directed by Andre de Toth, and also featuring Frank Lovejoy, Phyllis Kirk, and a young Charles Bronson, credited as Charles Bushinsky, here is House of Wax. House of Wax was filmed and exhibited in 3D, and Warner Brothers had high hopes that the gimmick would help lure audiences away from the television sets and back into the movie theaters. Ironically, to direct the picture, the studio assigned a director who only had the use of one of his eyes, Andre de Toth. De Toth may not have been able to register the full effect of 3D, but he created the most successful film of the 3D craze in the 1950s. It was a craze that was short-lived because it required theater owners to keep ordering supplies of cardboard glasses, and at the time, showing a film in 3D also required two different projectors. For Vincent Price, making House of Wax was also an ordeal. He recalled having to arrive at the studio every morning at 5:30 because it took 3 hours to get the grotesque makeup on. The 3D filming process also required enormous cameras that made it impossible to do a close-up and then cut to a stunt double. So as a result, Price had to do some of his own stunts, including running under a burning balcony right before it fell to the ground. Stick around because up next are two Looney Tunes shorts inspired by classic Hollywood horror movies.
Next on TCM, 36 Hours. Then, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. And later, Nights of Cabiria. It's Maggie Gyllenhaal's Call on TCM today.